So, as a happily married man, there is one thing I can say that I do not miss about my younger days, and that is dating. Dating to me has got to be the worst thing in the world. I don't know how I did it to begin with as a kid. When I see videos like the one we're going to watch today, it kind of all makes sense. So, to kind of give you the rundown of the video that we're about to watch, it's a lady who I guess is going on a first date with a guy, and he takes her to Cheesecake Factory, and she thinks that that's below her. So,
Whew. Let me just get the door for you. Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Mm-mm.
So the guy gets out of the car, goes to open it for her, which is already more chivalrous than most men would ever do. She, like a toddler throwing a tantrum, locks the door and then just starts talking about being taken to the Cheesecake Factory on a first date, mind you. They haven't gone on 3 or 4 dates already. It's a first date. What do you expect? You expect to go to a Michelin star restaurant on your first date with somebody? You don't even know them. This is the part where you get to know each other. Why would he take you somewhere that's super, super fancy? Everybody thinks this is their anime.
Yes. Would you want me to open the door for you? Look. You're recording me? Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. What's the problem with that? This is a chain restaurant.
A little bit of backstory, a little bit about me personally. Not me as much, but my wife. My wife loves the Cheesecake Factory. Anytime we visit a city where they have a Cheesecake Factory, she wants to go to it. That's her spot. I'm not a huge fan of it. I will go and I won't complain and I'll enjoy myself. I've never had a terrible experience at a Cheesecake Factory, but it's not a rinky-dink rundown place. You're not going to some Waffle House where you could get mugged in the bathroom, right? You're going to a Cheesecake Factory that most people would consider a good night out, right? That's where people go for dates. That's what people do. And for her to start recording it, and then he has to find out, and you just hear, "You're recording me," immediate red flags go off. It's just, it's so troubling. And just her making the face and sounding so condescending when she says it. Oh, it just makes me cringe so much. If it was me, she would be getting out of my car and walking home.
Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant? You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them. Oh yeah, I want to talk about it. Yeah, come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
This is definitely a conversation that could have been had ahead of time. This is something that could have definitely happened off camera. And the fact that everyone feels the need to record things all the time, it's just turbo cringe to me. I cannot stand it. It just gets me going. It gets my blood boiling. I hate it. And then she just says, who takes someone like this to a Cheesecake Factory? Listen, lady, there's nothing more unattractive in a person than someone who thinks they're the most attractive and think they can act that way. So again, the guy settles. He says, we can talk about this, and I don't mind talking in front of them. So let's see how that plays out.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yes, let's talk about it. So you expect a man to go all out on the first date? Is that right? I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right? Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course.
So she talks about how the man is supposed to do all this stuff when it comes to courting a woman and taking her on the first date. Again, my philosophy is it's a first date. You're just getting to know each other in that capacity, right? So basically, she gives us unsolicited dating advice. You're supposed to court the woman, especially when they're as fine as her, and you're supposed to do this and that and this and that. But again, it's a first date. I cannot be the only one that thinks a first date is really the establishment of the relationship. And then she starts talking like she's on the front lines of a war, like protect me and nurture me and do this and that and this and that. And it just, it just gets my, it just makes me want to like crawl inside my body and die listening to this lady talk. She thinks she's the hero of this. She's the villain. She is the villain. And the dude, for the record, is taking this so much better than I would have.
Of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least, you know.
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
I know she did not just ask this question unironically. He gets into what he expects out of a woman for him. And the first one is for them to be respectful. Immediate X on that mark. Then he talks about how she needs to be cooperative, right? And she said, "What have I done to be uncooperative?" Lady, you locked the car door and threw a temper tantrum because he took you to a cheesecake factory, which for some reason you felt like was below you. How is that cooperation? And then listen, I know people like, oh, we're going to do a surprise and this and that. But we have to think about, there is the possibility they had talked about this previous. Like this had been planned potentially. We don't know that this was a surprise. She very well could have known that this is where this was going to go and that she was going to do this and start recording it for her TikTok.
Well, I mean, like, even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay.
I don't know you.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
Okay.
When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
Again, I don't
we're not
know
there
yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself all made
There's nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. Well, look at my planner where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What a chat. She talks about how she's done everything that she needs to do as a woman. She's got herself made up. She's doing this and that. And then he talks about, you know, we're not there yet, right? Like, again, first date, Cheesecake Factory. Feel like that's fine. He pulls out the big guns. He said, this is where we were going to go today. And he pulls out his phone and shows her a mystery restaurant that we don't know of. And she says, that's where we should have gone. And then she has the audacity, the balls to tell this man to call him. And the man said no. Absolute Chad, what a unit of a man.
Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment. And that is not possible.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, if we're not...
So basically the way this video ends is he talks about that he showed up at her house at 4 p.m. and he had reservations to go to this fancy place that he had on his phone. So he had already planned to do that. And when he gets there, she's not ready for an hour. So he missed the reservation. So now he has to think on the fly because of her shortcomings. And he settles, and I say settles very lightly, for the Cheesecake Factory. That was the plan. You ruined that. And he's telling this in front of all her TikTok followers or whoever's watching this. I don't know who this lady is.
I'm waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, you know, the equivalent to that? I mean, you don't understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong with
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that.
We just get back to the main character syndrome where she says she cannot be seen in Cheesecake Factory, how embarrassing it is. I just don't understand how it's embarrassing to go inside a Cheesecake Factory and eat when you can upload this kind of video on TikTok and think that it makes you look like the good person. I feel bad for this guy. This guy absolutely handled it like an absolute legend, and he should be proud of how he handled it. But man, I just this woman is insufferable.
As I said, I have very specific certain expectations for this.
No.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm up.
So you just want to call it a night? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
What compromise? At what level have you given him a compromise? You wanted a fancy restaurant. Maybe he wanted Burger King and y'all's compromise was Cheesecake Factory. I mean, it's crazy that you think that you're entitled to getting anything. And so the dude just finally had it. He said, listen, I've given you my expectations in a woman and you failed every one of them miserably. So we're just going to call it a night. You're not getting food and I'm going to take you home. Which again is way more chivalrous than I would have done because I would have had her either walk home or call an Uber. Because this kind of disrespect is absolutely outrageous. And there's no way I'm taking somebody home in my car that's going to treat me like this. That's pretty much the rest of the video. It's just turbo cringe, man. I cannot, but stuff like this is so good. And I just felt like I need to talk about this one. So thanks for watching. Bye.